I'll start with the invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashta Praheshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 9, Mother Yashoda binds Krishna, and we are on text number 21, which goes like this. Nayam Sukha O Bhagavan Dehinam Gopika Sutaha Jnaninam Chatma Bhutanam Yatha Bhakti Matam Iha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the son of Mother Yashoda, is accessible to devotees engaged in spontaneous loving service, but he is not as easily accessible to mental speculators, to those striving for self-realization by severe austerities and penances, or to those who consider the body the same as the self. Purport. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the son of Mother Yashoda, is very easily available to devotees, but not to tapasvis, yogis, jnanis, and others who have a bodily concept of life. Although they may sometimes be called Shanta Bhaktas, real bhakti begins with Dasya Ras. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vatmanuvante manushya partha sarvashaha. As living entities surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. Everyone is seeking Krishna, for he is the super soul of all individual souls. Everyone loves his body and wants to protect it because he is within the body as the soul. And everyone loves the soul because the soul is part and parcel of the super soul. Therefore, everyone is actually seeking to achieve happiness by reviving your relationship with the super soul. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyaha. By all the Vedas, it is I who am to be known. Therefore, the karmis, jnanis, yogis, and saintly persons are all seeking Krishna. But by following the footsteps of devotees who are in a direct relationship with Krishna, especially the inhabitants of Vrindavan, one can reach the supreme position of associating with Krishna. As it is said, Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna does not leave Vrindavan even for a moment. The Vrindavan Vasis, Mother Yashoda, Krishna's friends, and Krishna's conjugal lovers, the younger gopis with whom he dances, have very intimate relationships with Krishna. And if one follows in the footsteps of these devotees, Krishna is available. Although the Nitya Siddha expansions of Krishna always remain with Krishna, if those engaged in sadhana siddhi follow in the footsteps of Krishna's Nitya Siddha associates, such sadhana siddhas also can easily attain Krishna without difficulty. But there are those who are attached to bodily concepts of life. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, for example, have very prestigious positions, and thus they have the sense of being very exalted Ishwaras. In other words, sorry, it will be a long day. Because Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are Guna avatars and have exalted positions, they have some small sense of being like Krishna. But the pure devotees who inhabit Vrindavan do not possess any bodily conception. They are fully dedicated to the service of the Lord in sublime affection, prema. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore recommended prema pumartho mahan. The highest perfection of life is prema, pure love in relationship with Krishna. And Mother Yashoda appears to be the topmost of devotees who have attained this perfection. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. So here it is explained that all the transcendentalists are after God realization, or in other words, they are trying to find God in their own way. The jnanis, the yogis, and tapasvis, they are all trying to find God. But the way they are trying to find God is actually a very troublesome path. And Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita 12:5, we looked at that, I think, few classes back, that to make progress in that discipline is very troublesome and very difficult. Krishna himself says that. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he goes on to explain that those who follow this path, advancement is very troublesome for them. Because advancement is very troublesome for them, Srila Prabhupada writes, this is not recommended. Krishna does not recommend this path. So what is the recommended path? The recommended path is Bhakti Yoga, because it is the direct, easiest, simplest, and the best method of connecting with Krishna, because it directly puts the Jiva soul, who is in a position of servitorship, in a position of servitorship, which is actually our real position. Who are we? We are tiny particles of the Supreme Lord Krishna, tiny, tiny spirit souls. And our eternal identity is, I am a servant of Krishna. But the yogis, the jnanis, the siddhi yogis, they do not accept that. They want to merge into the Brahman effulgence. What do the jnanis want to do? They want to merge into the effulgence which is radiating from the body of the Lord, because they don't want to surrender. They don't want to admit that Krishna is a person. They want to become God, and they think by merging into the Brahman effulgence, they will become God. They don't want to serve God. They don't want to surrender to God. They definitely don't want to render loving devotional service unto Him. So those are the jnanis. What about the siddhis, mystic yogis? They want mystic siddhis. They want power. What are these powers? These 8 Ashta siddhis are Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Garima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, and Vashitva. What are these? Becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller than the smallest. Hanuman used this mystic power to enter Lanka. The other one, Mahima, is becoming very big, very big, very big, expanding up to the skies. Again, Hanuman used this siddhi when he wanted to become very gigantic and jump over the ocean to reach Sri Lanka. Lanka, in those days, it was called Lanka. So that is called Mahima. And the yogi can acquire this power by practicing meditation on the Paramatma feature of the Lord. Like this, there are many siddhis. One is smaller than the smallest, bigger than the biggest. The next is Laghima, becoming very light as a feather. So you see these yogis who levitate, it is called levitation. Suddenly they are floating in the air in a cross-leg position. They have become lighter than a feather. That is called Laghima. Then heavier than the heaviest. That means immovable. Who demonstrated this power? Hanuman, in relation to Bhim. When they were in the forest, they were hiding in the forest, and Hanuman wanted to teach Bhim a lesson. You know what he did? He turned himself into a very old monkey, and he laid out on the forest path that he knew Bhim will come. And Bhim surely came, but the etiquette is you don't cross over an animal. So he said, "Old monkey, move out of my way." And the old monkey, who was actually Hanuman, said, "Oh, I'm an old, tired monkey. I cannot move an inch. You just move my tail and you walk over." So Bhim tried to move the tail, and the tail wouldn't budge. Bhima again tried with all his strength, putting both his, first he was just, going to grab with one hand and shove the tail aside. But when he found one hand would work, he put two hands. And now he's pulling and pulling with all his might. The tail is not budging an inch. And then finally he realized this is not an ordinary monkey. So he said, who are you? He said, I am Hanuman, your elder brother. This is called Lagima and then Garima. This is called Garima Siddhi. Madhvacharya also, he demonstrated this tremendous yogic siddhi when one wrestler came to challenge him and he said, fight with me. So Madhvacharya said calmly, all right, very well, I will fight with you. But first you prove to me that you are worthy of my fighting with you. I will place my big toe on the ground, and if you can move it, then I will fight with you. And all he did was he placed his big toe on the ground. And that wrestler could not budge that foot, what to speak of foot, even that toe. Because Madhvacharya demonstrated the siddhi of Garima, becoming heavier than the heaviest, becoming immovable. So like this, there are others. Prapti. Prapti means you can get anything from anywhere. A siddhi, mystic siddhi yogi, he can just meditate, oh, I want a pomegranate, and it will be far away from somewhere, and he will be able to get it. Someone may say, I want a cycle, and the cycle will come. Like this, you can actually manipulate the material energy to get you. That is called Prapti Siddhi. That's how all these fellows, they manufacture, a gold ring out of thin air, and vibhuti ash, and a silver locket, and a chain, and this and that, and people get fooled. Oh, he's God. He can manufacture out of thin air something. But they're just demonstrating Prapti Siddhi. Then Prakamya is manipulating nature. That means by the yogic power, they can make rainfall, they can change the direction of the wind, they can make the waves calm down like this, or they can make the sea turbulent. Again, Madhvacharya demonstrated this siddhi when he was walking along the seashore, and he saw one ship about to flounder and crash and sink in the seas. And the sailors were desperately trying to steer it, but they were helpless with the waves and the wind. And so they were calling out, help, help, help. So Madhvacharya, hearing that with his upper cloth, his chadar, he just waved it, and the seas calmed down, the winds calmed down, and the boat came safely to shore. And that captain was so grateful that he offered something. And Madhvacharya said, I want those 2 lumps of Gopi Chandan, because he knew the Lord was in them. And that's how Udupi Sri Krishna was found, in big lumps of Gopi Chandan. So he was demonstrating that siddhi called Prakamya. Then Ishitva is being able to control, Prakamya is demonstrating incredible feats, such as living underwater, having very long lifespan, increasing one's lifespan, able to hold one's breath for many, many hours, minutes. So many of these siddhis, they can stop their heartbeat, they can stop their breathing and go into something like a trance. Shobhari Muni demonstrated this siddhi because he went underwater to meditate, and then he saw 2 fish copulating, and then he wanted to come out and he wanted to marry. So this was one of the siddhis, that is called Prakamya. The next one is called controlling nature and the ability to change nature around you. That is called Ishitva. And Vashitva is being able to control the minds of not just people, but also animals. Some people have that tremendous siddhi, and all these so-called godmen and Osho Rajneesh, that they demonstrated the siddhi because they were able to manipulate people's minds. They could capture people's minds by their speech and make them do whatever they want, convince them of everything. That is called Vashitva. So the mystic siddhi yogis are after all these mystic powers. But even they cannot get Krishna because they're trying to get some material opulence to control and manipulate people. They want power actually. So here Krishna explains, or rather we are being explained this by, this is, who is speaking? Mother Yashoda, pastime. Who is speaking this? Yudhishthir Maharaj is being explained this? No. What is the context, Srimati? Do you remember? I'm trying to remember who is speaking over here.
No, Mataji, I don't remember.
Okay, we'll look into that by going backwards. Anyway, so what Krishna says Bhaktas ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhrajamya. Now, even these ones, yogis, tapasvis, jnanis, they can come to bhakti yoga, but they have to reach this stage called Shanta Bhaktas, Shantaras. That means service in neutrality. And this can happen only by the special mercy of the Lord. That's how the four Kumaras became devotees. They were actually impersonalists. But by smelling the tulsi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord mixed with sandalwood, they became personalists. They were so attracted to the service of the Lord. Shukadev Goswami also says that I was a transcendentalist, but I was attracted by hearing the pastimes of the Lord. So these are examples of Shantaras coming to devotional service. So they can be Shanta Bhaktas. That is actually step one for the impersonalist. But until they reach devotional service, the Dasyaras, that's the first step, admitting that I am a servant of the Lord and therefore I should render service to the Lord. The devotional service has not really begun. That's why Krishna said, Ye yata mam prapadyate tam stataiva bhajamyaham. As living entities surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Kunti. So Krishna is seeing how much the soul wants to come back to his original position of loving servitorship. What does a servant do? He simply serves the master in order to please the master. He has no personal ideas. Oh, I want this, I want that, I want like this, I want like that. He's simply happy to carry out the order of his master, and then whatever the master gives, he is happy with that. This is actually position of pure devotee. So then he goes on to explain, everyone loves his body and wants to protect it because he is within the body as the soul. And everyone loves the soul because soul is part and parcel of super soul. Because the loving connection between the Lord and his devotee, which is his part and parcel, is always there, the soul is always trying to reconnect with the Supreme Soul, Krishna. Therefore, everyone is actually seeking to achieve happiness by reviving his relationship with the Super Soul. And Krishna himself declares, Vedescha sarva aham eva vedya. How does that go? That is 15:15. Sarvasya chaham riddhi sanivishto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha Vedescha sarva aham eva vedya vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. I am seated as a super soul in everyone's heart. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas. So the end result of all the search brings one to Krishna. Krishna is ultimately Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all that be. And he is the source of all material and spiritual worlds. There is no more truth superior to him. He declares this himself. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. That is 10:10. Krishna is declaring, I am the source of all spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my loving devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Another time, 7:7 in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna declares, there is no more truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Matta partaram nanya kinchit asti dhananjaya. What is that? Mani Gana Iva. Sutre Mani Gana Iva. The third line I keep forgetting. Matasya Partaram Nan. Bhagavad Gita 7:7. Srimati, can you look that up? Matta Partaram Nanya
Yes, Mataji,
Kinchit
one second.
Asti Dhananjaya. Something, and then last line is Sutre Mani Gana Iva. Everything rests upon me as pearls rest on a thread. There is no more superior truth to me. There is nothing more to go beyond, looking beyond Krishna. What is there? What is there? What is there? Because Krishna is everything. From his body comes everything, and everything rests in his body. The whole cosmic. Yeah. Mai sarvam idam protam. Everything rests upon me. Mai sarvam idam protam. Sutre mani gana iva. As pearls are strung on a thread, everything rests on the Lord. So Krishna is declaring, I am the supreme, I am the topmost, there's nothing more than me. You simply worship me. Simply come back to me in loving servitorship. Yeah, let's go back to that verse that we are looking at. So Mata Partaram Nanyat is to remind us that there is no more superior truth to me. Krishna is declaring it himself. So therefore the Bhakti Yogi is in a very good position. Why? Because he is worshipping Krishna. And by all the Vedas, I am to be known. That means the end point of all Vedic study brings one to Krishna. And therefore, the residents of Vrindavan are extremely fortunate. Why? Because they have reached the perfection of life. They are directly in relationship with Krishna. They are loving, pure servitors of Krishna. They know nothing but Krishna. They only want Krishna's happiness. They do not care about themselves. For them, it's Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna does not leave Vrindavan even for a moment. Why? Because he is completely captured by the love of his devotees, the pure love of his devotees. In Sakyaras, in Dasyaras, in Vatsalaras, in Madhuryaras, all the rasas are there and Krishna is enjoying all the rasas. So all these Vrindavan Vasis, Mother Yashoda, Krishna's Gopa friends, Krishna's Gopi friends, Krishna's father, elderly uncles, everyone, the younger gopis, the manjaris have very intimate relationship with Krishna. And then Srila Prabhupada explained, if one follows in the footsteps of these devotees, Krishna is available. So we are not Nitya Siddha. Who is Nitya Siddha? Eternally liberated souls who are infallible and who are completely situated in pure loving servitorship to Krishna. Who are we? We are trying to follow sadhana siddhipa. That means we are trying to perfect our lives by engaging in sadhana, engaging in the process of devotional service, but we are trying to follow it so that we can also become the pure loving servitors of Krishna and become liberated very soon in the Supreme following this process. So Srila Prabhupada explained, such sadhana siddhis can also attain Krishna without difficulty. And Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, those who follow me in all respects, they come back to me. And I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Tesham satata yuktanam vajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yenamam upayanti. So such is the good fortune of those who are engaged in devotional service. Even if they're imperfect, they will come to perfection by following the process of sadhana siddhi. Now let us look at what Shiva and Brahma. Now they are very powerful demigods, extremely powerful, and they are having very prestigious position. Why? Because they're controllers of and administrators of the universe. Brahma is the secondary creator and Shiva is in charge of destruction. So they have a very powerful position and a very important portfolio, as we say, in the ministry. Just like we say the GBC have a very important portfolio, right? Each GBC member is in charge of one aspect of ISKCON. So like that, in the cosmic manifestation, Brahma and Shiva have very exalted positions, but because they are not pure devotees, they are mixed devotees, sometimes even they get bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord. Shiva got bewildered by the Mohini Murti form of the Lord and went running behind the Lord who had come in the form of a woman. So he got bewildered. Brahma got bewildered seeing the little boy running around playing with his Gopa friends and decided to steal the calves and the Gopa friends of Krishna. And then what did Krishna do? He just expanded himself and fooled Brahma like this. So because they are tinged with mixed devotional service, they can also get overcome by the illusory energy and they can, get, bewildered. Sometimes they think they are the controllers. And when Brahma came to know that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he felt so much deep embarrassment and so much remorse and regret for what he was trying to do, trying to pit his little power against Krishna's mighty power, that he resolved that he will never become so proud again. And he pleaded with the Lord, in your next incarnation, please let me come as a very humble personality and never get illusioned by your illusory power, because I do not want to go through this again. And who did Brahma come back as? Haridas Thakur. He came back as Haridas Thakur in Chaitanya Leela. So again, Srila Prabhupada explains, but the pure devotees who inhabit Vrindavan do not possess any bodily conception. They are simply dedicated to the service of the Lord in pure, sublime affection, Krishna Prem. And who recommends this path? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, attain the highest perfection of life, which is dormant love of Krishna, which is there in everyone's heart, and bring it out more and more. How? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then goes on to extol the virtues of Mother Yashoda, who is the topmost of the devotees who have attained this perfection in Vatsalya Ras. So she is glorified for being a pure mother, a loving mother, who has no other thought except Krishna, 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 Hare. She's only thinking, my little baby Krishna, I hope the thorns are not pricking his beautiful lotus feet. I hope he's eating his lunch. Oh, when he comes back, I will make sure that I bathe him nicely, because he's covered with so much dust from all the fields. I will make sure that he eats nice butter and he eats nice lunch and dinner. And then I will put him in this cradle and put him to sleep very nicely. And she has the softest of cushions and nice soft coverlets. And she swings baby Krishna to sleep, singing songs to Krishna. Because for her, he is her baby Krishna. That's all she knows. For her, he is not the supreme personality of Godhead who is all powerful. For her, he is her adorable, darling baby child Krishna. So we'll stop over there. And we will see if there are any questions, comments.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I just want to request you, can you go through the next two verses also, because that will end the chapter and there is no purport for the next one.
Okay, we can do that. We can go to the next verse and wrap it up, and then the chapter will be over. Okay. So we are on 22, which is like this. Krishnastu griha krityeshu vaigrayam matari prabhu adrakshid arjuna purvam bhuyakao dhanathatmajao. Translation. While Mother Yashoda was very busy with household affairs, the Supreme Lord Krishna observed twin trees known as Yamalarjun, which in a former millennium had been the demigod sons of Kuber. And those sons were Nalakuvara and Manigriva. In their former birth, these two sons, known as Nalakuvara and Manigriva, were extremely opulent and fortunate. But because of pride and false prestige, they did not care about anyone. And thus Narad Muni cursed them to become trees. And thus end the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 9th chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mother Yashoda binds Krishna. And then we go on to the next deliverance of the Yamal Arjuna trees, which is another very wonderful pastime in itself. How Krishna did that. Shall I recap that very quickly?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. So Krishna had been bound up by Mother Yashoda, and now he was thinking, what do I do now? I have to get untied. So he's tried to call out to all his group of friends, come, Sridama, Sudama, the Kingini, come on, untie me, untie me. And they all came and they tried to untie him, but they could not, because he was tied with Vatsalya Ras. So Krishna said, all right, doesn't matter. This is not going to stop me. So he goes off with that heavy wooden motor and he crawls all the way to where the Yamal Arjuna trees are. He goes in between the two trees. The wooden grinding motor gets topsy-turvy. That means it's like horizontal now. And he brings the two trees crashing down with a big boom. and two very wonderful celestial creatures come out of those trees, and they are the sons of Kuber, who have been trapped, Nalakuvara and Manigriva, by the curse of Narad Muni. You see, when Narad Muni had been passing by, these two sons of Kuber were cavorting naked and shameless in the waters of the river, celestial river, with apsaras. The apsaras hastily covered themselves, but these two boys were so lost to shame and decorum because they were drunk, they were intoxicated, that they didn't even care that a saintly person is passing by. They didn't even bother to cover themselves. So Narad Muni, seeing this degraded condition and knowing that if they continue like this, they are going to get a very low birth, decided to punish them in order to deliver them. So he said, all right, you come back as trees. And then the demigods got so frightened, they started praying to him. And Narad Muni said, all right, you will get liberation when Krishna comes in his baby form and liberates you. And so they were standing for hundreds of celestial years in the compound of Nanda Maharaj, waiting for Krishna. And now they come out, they offer their obeisances, they offer their prayers, and they go back again because now they are suitably chastened and reformed. Now they have become devotees. So this is how Krishna liberated those two Yamalajuna trees. And that is actually the next chapter, deliverance of the Manigriva and Nalakuvara.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for such a nice class in short time. Thank you so much, Mataji, once again. I'm very grateful to you.
Thank you, my dear Srimati, and thank you to all the devotees for giving me your blessings that I'm able to speak a little something on the class.
So dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead. Please turn on your cameras if possible. Thank you. So Mataji, while others are thinking, I have just a small clarification. So sadhana siddhas are the neophyte stage or like sadhana bhakti practitioners, right, Mataji?
Yes.
Who follow the nitya siddhas like Yashoda Mata, Nanda Maharaj. So these are all nitya siddhas who are in the Leela of Krishna participating. So when we follow in these footsteps, in their footsteps, we'll reach Krishna. So that's what.
Yeah, I just looked up because I wanted to know who's speaking. It is Shukadev Goswami speaking this pastime to Maharaj Parikshit.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji.
So we have 10 people online besides you and me. So that's 8 more people. So we humbly request everybody to please participate by either sharing your realizations during this Kartik month or asking questions or correcting whatever mistakes I may have made.
Revati Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories
Please
to all.
accept mine. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for this wonderful class, and so nicely explained very clearly, like different kinds of realizations, like impersonal and Jnana Yogis and Padmatma realizations, and how Bhakti is topmost. So my question is, Mataji, like Paramatma realizations. I mean, we are Bhakti Yogis, but still, like somewhere, like we also meditate Krishna in the heart. I mean, when we chant also, when we always, we think like, oh, Krishna is there in my heart. So how should we like, dovetail that? I mean, because me by default, I always think, oh, Krishna is there in my heart, like that.
And that is yes, there is a very wonderful realization also, Sat Chit, knowledge. But the Paramatma feature of the Lord is still imperfect realization of all 3 aspects of the Lord. The Bhagwan aspect is missing. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Sabhyate. The Bhagwan aspect gives all the 3. That means you know about the Brahman effulgence, you know about the localized super soul present in everyone's heart, and the Bhagwan feature of the Lord, which is Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, allows us to be in a personal relationship. Mere meditation on the four-handed form of the Lord while not engaging in loving devotional service does not bring ananda. So it's still incomplete. So there is knowledge that there is super soul, there is knowledge that there is God present in all the souls of all living entities. And so it is Sat and Chit, but Ananda is missing. The Ananda comes only with blissful, loving relationship with Krishna in servitorship. So that is why we encourage everybody to awaken the dormant loving connection with Krishna in loving servitorship. Because there is rasa, there is ananda. That is why the impersonalists, they're unhappy and they're very lonely because they reach the Brahman effulgence and there's nothing there to hold their interest. And so they fall down again because the soul is seeking some enjoyment. The mystic yogis, they want the perfection of yoga. But perfection of yoga doesn't come with yogic siddhis. In fact, it's a distraction because it makes them think that they are God by giving them very immense material powers ultimately and does not allow them to engage in loving. They do not take the subordinate position. They think, I have become God now. I'm so powerful. I can do this. I can do that. So again, they get fooled by the illusory energy of the Lord. So we don't encourage that you become a mystic siddhi yogi because that's a distraction.
Okay.
And devotee, he gets everything. In bhakti yoga, all these things are there. Jnana, siddhi, everything comes. But the devotee doesn't care to misuse these powers. Some of our devotees are very, very powerful people actually. But they don't misuse their powers for personal gain. They use that to serve the Lord.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Because we are engaged in service, we are doing personal service, we understand Krishna as a personal form and everything. But still, like sometimes default, oh, Krishna is there in our heart, like that it goes. We are not really meditating Krishna in the heart, but we have that.
We actually want Krishna to come into our heart. We are inviting Krishna into our heart by purifying our heart, by making our heart a pure, clean place where Krishna will be happy to come and perform his pastime. So we do want to invite Krishna into our heart. So it is not wrong or anything what you're doing. Oh, Krishna is in my heart. I can always pray to him. Yes, he's there. In the localized super soul feature, he is there. But we prefer to think about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and pray to him.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you again for the beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
You're all very tolerant and merciful, and that's why whatever little tuta-futa broken words I'm using to glorify the Lord, you all say very nice, very wonderful, but actually it is really like a child trying to say something, you know. So really people who give class, they speak very, very powerfully, very logically, very systematically, and they know the philosophy inside out, and they are really giving class. I'm just a fill-in, substitute, doing a poor job. But you all are very merciful to me. I'm very blessed.
No, Mataji, your classes are really powerful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Mataji, it's your humility. You think like that, but it's not like that. Devotees, any more comments or realizations or questions?
What about our scholar, National Lila? She always has some very deep questions. I won't even be able to answer, but still, it's very nice to have your question, National Lila.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Mataji, can you increase your volume? We are not able to hear you. It's very low.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit better, but still, if you can increase, that will be.
Yeah, actually, I hope you will hear me. Actually,
Yeah.
I was about
Yes, Mataji.
Shridevi Mataji mentioned something like that impersonalists are like they want to be independent in relation to Lord Krishna, And I was thinking that in my life, I see that maybe I have intellectually, I know I'm dependent, and that's my constitutional position. But in one sense, I always want to be independent. It's like a subtle desire. So it's hard to remember every day that I'm not independent, and to act in such a way. So Sridevi Mataji, if you can explain or give some insights how to overcome it. I know it's a lifelong practice, but yeah, devotees always have some insights that can help in that way. So please, if you have something, please share.
Beautiful question. Please accept my humble obeisances or glories to Prabhupada. Actually, I heard Guru Maharaj saying real independence is full dependence on Krishna. Why? Because then we are completely free of the modes. We are completely under Krishna's shelter, and the modes cannot manipulate us, attack us, make us into puppets. That is real independence. So, by working on our relationship with Krishna, by becoming closer and closer and closer to Krishna, and becoming free of the material modes of nature, we will actually become really independent of the modes of nature by being fully dependent on Krishna. Then we are free. Then we are really free. And that is the nature of the soul. So there's nothing wrong in what you're desiring. It's a very beautiful desire. Keep it up. We all want to be free. We all want to be independent of being manipulated and pushed and kicked by Maya like crazy. Right now, we are like footballs. All the while, we are getting kicks all the time. Who want those kicks? We don't want those kicks. So, by actually acquiring a pure position of loving servitorship to Krishna, we will become free. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. It's perfect.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare
So,
Krishna.
Mataji, in that Mataji's question, I just want to follow up. So, when I was reading recently Bhagavad Gita, first chapter, 15th verse, where Srila Prabhupada is writing that so he is controller of all the senses, and he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity and their senses. Living entity, and in the case of a pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. So this means that if we are totally surrendered to Krishna, as you said, we are free from the modes of material nature, and so we will be in that entire control of Krishna, right? So he will be controlling the senses directly of a pure devotee.
Yes.
Because they are surrendered to Krishna fully. So
Right.
the senses are all controlled like that. We are not doing anything. We just left everything to Krishna to control our senses, right, Mataji?
Yes. We are completely surrendered to Krishna. We have completely taken shelter of Krishna, and now our mind, senses, intelligence, everything is totally purified, and therefore we are completely under Krishna. And whatever Krishna desires, whatever Krishna wants, whatever Krishna orders, that's all that the pure devotee does. In other words, he has no other agenda other than the agenda of the Lord.
Okay. So can we think that Bhishma also is a Mahajan and is a devotee? So he also have this type of surrender to Krishna. So even though he is on the side of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, so he was not in the favor of Pandavas but he was hoping that Pandavas should win and everything, but he was on the side of Dhritarashtra. So he's just executing the Krishna's plan.
He was not bewildered by the illusory energy into doing that. He had to play that role by Krishna's arrangement. Krishna arranged that he should be on the side, just to show that even a powerful warrior like Bhishma, whom no one can defeat, will get defeated if he's on the wrong side. So it was Krishna's plan for all these things to happen, just to establish his supremacy and to show that when devotee takes shelter of Krishna, nobody can defeat him. On the other hand, however powerful you may be, if you are against Krishna, you will never be victorious.
Yeah, so he knows that this is all Krishna's plan. That's why he's silent and he's watching, right, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Mhm.
Scarlett Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Guru Maharaj Candramauli, and all glories to you. Thank you for the class. You say that as long as we hold us to practicing and doing our best in devotional, and of my understanding, even reading, chanting, all these counts inside devotional, and trying to learn all you can to practice accordingly, then all the control will be for Krishna. Our senses will be controlled by Krishna. I have a question. I'm not going to say name. I'm not going to say who, where. But anyway, I know devotees that they are very, very good devotees. They try their best. Men, but I'm sorry, it's mixing in Swedish. But when it comes to the controlling the senses, they struggle. They can't make it. For instance, I can see the person take some glass of wine. Despite that, this person trying to do her best, it's not she, I promise. But how can I how can I understand this? Is it by Krishna's arrangement that this person do everything devotional? The only thing she cannot do, this person cannot do, is to control, not to take, not every day, but then and some days take a glass of wine. Why can't this person have control over it? Is it by Krishna's arrangement? Or is it what? How can this person? How can I understand this? How should I understand this?
Krishna does not interfere with our free will. It is up to us to decide what we want to control and what we don't want to control. We may engage in devotional service, but if on the side we have some secret addiction for tea and coffee and wine and internet and FaceTime and whatnot, YouTube or this or that, anything can become an addiction. Anything can capture our attention. Anything can make us think, oh, here is happiness. And we can run after that. Remember, we have been in the material world for millions of lifetimes and we are addicted. We are actually addicted to the things of this world. We have strong addictions for everything in this material world. So to pull away our attraction from all these things and bring it to Krishna is not an easy thing. Supposing you have a home which you have not cleaned up for 25 years. Now you try to go inside and start cleaning. Even to open the door is going to be like, so the door is so stiff. The hinges have become stiff. And just to enter into that house will be such a difficulty. It will be covered with cobweb, dust, all kinds of fungus and so many things. So it's not so easy to give up our material attachment. It is not so easy to overcome the pull of the illusory energy. And we all have different struggles at various levels. So this particular lady is struggling with wine. I know some other devotees who struggle with smoking. I know some other devotees who struggle with coffee drinking. They're doing all devotional things, but they still have attraction for something in this material world. I may have attraction for wine, you may have attraction for smoking, somebody has an attraction for acquiring property. They keep on buying property which they don't need. They keep buying houses. Somebody else has attraction for seeing movies on YouTube. Somebody else has attraction for constantly watching Facebook for no good reason, because they are attracted. So like this, we are so much involved with the material energy. It is a great effort that we have to break away from these addiction and really pray to Krishna. Please help me to overcome all these tendencies and bring all my attention, all my focus to you, my dear Lord. I do not want to come back here just to smoke another cigarette. Srila Prabhupada actually, in the early days, I will tell you an anecdote. Shyam Sundar was carving the deity of Lord Jagannath. This was the very early days. And Srila Prabhupada once unexpectedly walked into his room where he was carving Lord Jagannath, and there was a cigarette packet sitting on top of Lord Jagannath's head. Srila Prabhupada took his walking stick, and with one flick of his cane, he just sent that pack spinning across the corner of the room and said, "And what is this?" "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, that's just a cigarette packet." He was so embarrassed because he knew this is the 4 regulative principles: no smoking, no intoxication, all this he knew. But still, he could not stop himself from smoking because he had that habit of smoking. And then Srila Prabhupada gave such a beautiful answer. He said, "Don't let such a small thing as a cigarette come between you and Krishna." And he gave him the formula how to reduce. He didn't shout, he didn't scold, he didn't chastise, he didn't say stop it at once, because he knew he couldn't. Saying just reduce one by one every day, and one day you will no longer need to smoke. So it's up to this person who is drinking wine if they really want to continue drinking wine into the next life, or they want Krishna.
But what I don't get it is when someone is so dedicated to Krishna consciousness and do everything to please, and this association with others and so on, everything, how come this person cannot get help to get the strength to do it? Because, as you say, it is difficult. It is Maya. Maya has full control and do everything that make us to break down. For some reason, Maya do everything to make us to break down. And if we fight it, if we try to do devotional service, to serve Krishna and so on, I wonder why then people who has this difficulty, this struggle, when they do everything else for pleasing Krishna, how come they don't get the strength to not to do?
First and foremost, we don't know the whole story. We don't know what this person is going through. We don't know what level they have reached. What if they have been struggling for years and now they have come to the point of drinking only once a week? What if for years they were drinking 5 times a day, then they made it 4 times a day, then 3 times a day, then maybe once every day for, all the days of the week and so on. And now they have come down to only once a week. That means they're working on their addiction and it is becoming less and less and less and less. So we don't know where this person is at in their journey towards Krishna. Remember, every soul has a very unique relationship with Krishna and a special journey towards Krishna. We cannot see from the outside what is going on in this person's life. So do we know how much they were drinking before? Do we know whether they're drinking less now or more now? We don't know what level they are at. That is one thing. Secondly, only that soul can decide whether they want to quit or not. It is not such an easy thing to give up a bad habit like smoking or drinking or FaceTime or this or that. It is not so easy to give up this habit. So one must have to have a very strong desire that I don't want to do this anymore, Krishna. please help me and replace that bad habit with something else, devotional. They have to surround themselves with devotees. They have to keep themselves busy with devotional service, and they have to also make up their minds that they don't want to do this anymore. We cannot do it for them. They must want to do it for themselves.
So you mean
It's
that
it's like, let me finish. It's like the smoker in the family. Everybody else wants him to stop. But until he makes up his mind to stop, you can't get him to stop. Everybody is screaming blue murder, saying, this is so bad for your health. You've already been hospitalized 2 times. Look at your lungs. They're all blackened. X-ray, MRI, everything shows that you have so much lung damage. Please quit, please quit, please quit. But do they quit? No, they continue because they're getting some rasa by smoking. So until you replace the lower taste with the higher taste, you will keep going for the lower taste. So until they decide that they want to quit and they want something better than smoking, drinking, whatever it is, nobody else can do it for them.
can I ask? Can I ask my question? Can I ask my question? So I understand you right that it might be gradually that maybe this person has been very, 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 very alcoholic, but now it has got to only 1 glass a week. It's gradually, this person has got the help, but it was gradually, maybe. You mean that, right?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know where they are in that journey. Maybe they were very heavy drinkers of hardcore alcohol. I know there are different varieties of alcohol also, and wine is supposed to be a little less problematic. I think that's what I have heard. So maybe they were drinking very heavy alcohol. They were very heavy alcoholics, and now they have reduced and reduced and reduced, and they have come to drinking only once a week. And Krishna willing, through the process of purification, one day even that will go. We are all on a journey, we have had so much interaction with the material energy. We are all addicted to so many bad things without even knowing it. These are very obvious, drinking, smoking. But how many of us are addicted to gossiping? How many of us are addicted to internet? How many of us are addicted to Facebooking? How many of us are addicted to WhatsApping? How many of us are addicted to watching the news compulsively and seeing what is happening, That means there are so many things, Scarlet Mataji, that we are all addicted to and which are time wasters and which take us away from Krishna. So therefore, devotee has to be very watchful. Where's my time going? Where's my energy going? How can I enhance my Krishna consciousness? So yes, we don't know where the soul is on their journey of giving up the addiction.
Could it be maybe they are in the they are in that position because they need to be that position, because they need to learn something, to burn out some karma or something? Could it be that's why?
That's all speculation. We don't have to go there. That's all speculation. You don't have to waste our time with that.
So you mean the thing that I have been through, it has nothing to do with karma?
Sorry?
Let us say I have been through something in my life. It has nothing to do with karma because it is that is called for that I'm just fine. I don't understand. Is it no karma? There is no anything.
Now we are talking about you. Till now we were talking about someone else.
No. I'm just saying example because I said, could it be this person going through some kind of karma? But you say it's speculation.
I said we don't want to mentally speculate where they are in their journey. You said that, is it her karma? Is it her this? Is it her that? I said, for that I said, we don't want to waste our time mentally speculating what it could be. Why should we waste our time about that?
Then
That's what I meant.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed out this. Thank you.
That's okay.
Mataji, there is a question on chat by Narsinga Leela Mataji. Will you read?
Yeah, just recently, A friend of mine got divorced and she wanted to leave the country for work for a couple of months, leaving very small children in the home country. And I said to her that it's best to act according to your dharma, and in that way, Krishna will give full protection. So my understanding is that it's better to stay and earn less money but be with the children. Do I have proper understanding? I have the tendency to see the world as black and white, and how to minimize the modern influences where we see that our choices are based on modern society rather than dharma. Well, first and foremost, is this friend a devotee? Because if she's not a devotee, she's going to be influenced by the secular culture around her and think money is everything and not understand the Supreme Lord's protection or how to take protection or what is her dharma. Is she a devotee or is she not? That's the first question. Nashika Leela, do we know?
Yes, she's saying she's a devotee.
Yes, she is. Okay. So she's a devotee. Now, for her, when a difficult situation like a divorce and a huge life-changing, traumatic event happens, one is supposed to take shelter of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and not come up with ideas out of our own head, because we are ourselves reeling by what is happening. We are in shock. We are suffering from trauma. We are not able to think clearly. And if we take decisions based on our own mental speculation and our own state of mind, we are bound to make mistakes. For her, it is most important to take shelter of her Guru and act according to his instructions as to what is best to be done, and not according to her own calculations about where is more money and where is. Yes, you are absolutely correct that small children need the protection of the mother and the father, but definitely of the mother, because she is the primary caregiver when it comes to very small children. And to leave them and go to another country to earn money will be double trauma, because now the kids are suffering from the divorce and now they will suffer abandonment from the mother also. So yes, you are absolutely correct that, you advised her, please be with the children. Krishna will protect you, even if you earn a little less. But this poor girl must be so frightened, so panic stricken that how will I take care of my kids? I have to earn money. The father is gone now. Money is less. I have to. So she may be acting out of fear, acting out of, terrified of what is going to happen to her and the kids if she doesn't earn enough money and so many. But that's why one must take shelter. It's in the most difficult situation of our life that we actually have to take more shelter of the sadhus, of Guru, of Shastra, and not go astray. So please be her friend and try to help her. Do I have proper understanding? Yes. I have the tendency to see world as black and white. How to minimize the modern influence where we see that our child. How to minimize modern influence? Take shelter of Krishna. These modern influences, so-called modern influences, I call them demoniac influences, can only influence us as long as we are not taking shelter of Krishna. The more we take shelter of Krishna, the less we will be affected by the material energy and all the nonsense around us. Is that okay?
Nashingalila Mataji, you have any more clarification? Okay, she says thank you.
Thank you. We pray for this poor mother and the poor little children. It's most devastating when a divorce happens, and that too for the small children. It's so sad. Very difficult situation. See, this is Kali Yuga, it's such a bad age. What to do?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you so much, dear devotees. If there are any more questions, we can. Okay, Mataji, I think there are no more questions. We can end the call here. So it's been a 1 hour time. Thank you so much for filling in for Guru Maharaj and always be there for us to give class, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah, I totally appreciate from my bottom of my heart and give a big hug to you whenever you help me.
You're so kind. Accepting such a humble and such a simple offering. I really am thankful for the tolerance and patience you all have to put up with whatever little bit I'm able to offer you.
Yeah,
Thank you all
just,
so much.
just I thought I don't want to bother you too much because I didn't get yesterday much time to reach anyone to give class. So I was thinking, what should I do? What should I do? I am not bugging Sridevi Mataji again and again.
No, no, no. It is actually a joy, a privilege, and a great honor to serve the Vaishnavas. And so, by your empowerment, if I could do something, it is actually my privilege and a joy for me that you're accepting this little service. Thank you.
Please, please bless us also, Mataji, so that we can also be helpful whenever it's needed like this, because I always struggle with that. Like last minute means my mind doesn't work like that. So that's my problem. So
Well, you're already serving in so many different ways. Everyone is doing such wonderful service. Look at you, arranging all these calls, always staying on top of what is going on, always being ready to jump in and do the needful. So you're also serving very superlatively in your own way. Everyone is really doing, superlative service. We just don't see it. So I'm also very thankful to you.
So tomorrow is Harrisburg class with Harrisburg devotees. It's verse number Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.22. I'll just message in the group and I'll post it to Guru Maharaj too. We'll all join tomorrow. The time is like same time, Mataji's. So it's 8 a.m. Eastern time and 12 p.m. UK time. Next week we'll go back to our original, but India time will be 5:30 only. So because of daylight savings in USA from November 6th, again will USA devotees will go back to 7 o'clock Eastern time.
So that means same, it will be 5:30 for us tomorrow?
Yeah, yes, Mataji.
Okay, and
Until
tomorrow
March.
is 1:13:22.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mataji. Vanchakalpatarupyascha kripasindhupyavacha.
Vasindhubhyam patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo
vaishnavebhyo
namo.
namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Damodar Lila ki
Thank you
jai,
to all
Srila
devotees.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Yeah.
Maharaj ki jai, Sridevi Mataji ki jai. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.